Hi guys, welcome to another beer review, and I'm back on the floor where I belong. And today we're delving into the most recent to uploading, of course, Beer 52 box, which is the Citizens of Everywhere box, which is a collaboration project between Beer 52 and Thirsty Cambridge, as well as all the breweries involved. So the whole sort of thing behind this box is we've got British or English or British, whatever, British breweries paired up with European breweries, and they collaborate to make a beer. Now, of course, it's all in the name of Brexit, Remain, that sort of thing, and showing you the positives of the EU. Now, I don't want to mention this in every video because it will get very boring. So if I remember to upload this first, then that's fantastic. But if not, then you'll be seeing this after whatever video I choose to upload first, because I'm terrible like that. I like the idea of this box, don't get me wrong. That's first and foremost, I think it's a great idea, pairing UK breweries to European breweries and collaborating. But as someone who voted to remain initially when I was living in Germany, I don't like this sort of like propaganda that almost belittles or bullies those who voted for remain, voted for leave. And thankfully this box doesn't really push that message too much. But some of the rhetoric from those involved is a little bit tedious. Now, I know for a fact that the Brexit vote wasn't perfect. In fact, far from it. I know a lot of people voted on information that was simply incorrect, lies. But that was on both sides. But the way I see it, there was what is democracy in the 21st century anyway? But there was a democratic vote where people got to choose. The people chose, and they said, we have to leave. Now, personal feelings aside, you have to respect that. Yeah, you know, there's been things like the vote was illegal, there's misinformation when you actually look at the statistics. That's the thing about democracy. It's not a perfect system. Just look at what's happened throughout history with democratic votes. But that's the thing. It doesn't always work in your favour. And why not invest that energy to try and make the best of what you consider a bad situation? Because it is technically, you know, I voted to remain. But if we do, and this is one thing that I do have a massive problem with, is it's not just when people and individuals push the idea of let's have another vote, let's give it another try. It's when companies and organisations and people with influence try and push this narrative as well. It's like, you just can't do that. You just can't go back on something. You have to grin and bear it. But thankfully, this box, with some of the beers that are in this box, just sounds absolutely fantastic. So from a conceptual level, I think it's a great idea. But there's messages behind that I don't fully agree with. But at the same time, I'm not going to make a song and dance of it. What I would say is, if we do indeed get a referendum, I would choose to leave, because that's what I believe people voted for initially. And like it or not, we have to respect that and move on. That being said, those in power here in the UK, I'm looking at you, Theresa May, you've done a fucking awful job. And you shouldn't just step down after this whole facade, but you should be stepping down right this minute of me recording this video, because you messed it up. And you really didn't make a good case for being a leader. And that's all I'm going to say on the matter. But that being said, I'm not going to belittle anyone. I might make some inflammatory comments on Facebook, but that's just, you know, that's the great thing about Facebook. You don't actually really know what my political views are sometimes, and I like that ambiguity. But if you had an actual face-to-face conversation with me, I'm more than happy to tell you what I believe, don't believe, what I accept, won't accept, that sort of thing. But yeah, I thought I'd get this out of the way with the first review I'm doing from this box, because it's important. It's very important, and although I didn't vote for it initially, if we do end up going for another referendum, I have to go with what the majority voted for, whether I like it or not. And to be honest, the way the leaders within the EU have been treating us since the decision, then I think we're actually at this point, we have to leave, because we'll just be treated terribly from this point forward. Anyway, on a much lighter note, that's the only time I'm going to mention that in this series of reviews. We are going to go to White Hag, and this is the Freedom of Movement Black Lager, which was brewed in collaboration with Boundary Brewing Company. So this beer is a positive celebration of the concept that protects the basic right of individuals to travel. Freedom of movement. It is the product of freedom of movement between Sligo Island, or Sligo, and Belfast, Northern Ireland. A dark German lager that balances roasted yet smooth coffee-like malt flavours. Enjoy moderate hot bitterness and a dark chocolate palate to the finish. So yeah, enjoy this White Hag sensibly. So I like that idea. Two countries neighbouring across the border, collaborating, and that's what we should be doing. We should be coming together. We should be setting our differences aside and putting energy into trying and making the best out of a negative situation. And that's what I love about this box. Not only that, the beers sound absolutely bloody terrific, so hopefully we're going to get off to a good start. And yeah, I think this is one of the more meaningful collaborations in the box, and two breweries that I'm a big fan of, although I've had little experience with both. But yeah, it should be noted that, as I said, this is also a sort of project developed by Beer 52 and Thirsty Cambridge. So links to everyone involved in this will be promoted throughout. Anyway, you know I like a good German style lager, and dark lagers, Dunkels, Schwarzbiers, that sort of thing, Rotbiers. I think they're very underrated styles. So let's give it a try. Got to use my Pilcro's Summer Beer Thing 2017 vintage glass. Never went to the event, but I was kindly given a glass. So let's give this a pour and see what we get. And there we go. That is a lovely, I mean, it looks jet black on camera aside from some sort of oakish hues there. A little bit of ruby red tinge to it. It has that sort of like cola look to it as well. But yeah, one thing is worth of a light tan, soft beige looking head. And yeah, it's certainly looking true to style. So let's see what we get on the nose. Oh, and by the way, links down below to the breweries, Beer 52 and everyone down there. And there's also a referral link because I like to share with you guys. Anyway, let's give it a sniff. And it does have that sort of like sweet cola vibe that you get with a lot of Dunkel beers. There's a little bit of a smokiness to this one, I would say. A little bit of a roasted nuttiness. Lovely, sweet, dark, dense, chewy malt character. A little bit of a savoury, peppery hop character coming through as well. It's very authentic smelling. And I'm actually getting quite a big hit of coffee as well, which is fine by me. Anyway, smells lovely, looks good. Let's give it a taste. Cheers, or Prost on this occasion. Or Slangy. That's actually a lot more savoury than some of the dark lagers that I've had recently. That's almost... I mean, does it mention Schwarzbier? Yeah, this to me is more in line with a Schwarzbier. There's a big charry woodiness to it. Very subtle sweetness. That char is complemented by a lovely earthy hop character. I'm drinking this at room temperature and it's tasting lovely. Relatively light body, as you would expect. It's just the simplicity of it all, and the authenticity of it. It sort of like has that sort of a Dunkel Schwarz vibe to it, so you're getting the best of both worlds, but there's less emphasis on sweetness with this. But yeah, you'd think you were drinking a German Schwarzbier with this, so I think you have to be commended on that when you're doing a style like this, because it's tasting very traditional and authentic, and I think that is really important, especially in this age of really experimental left field brewing, which I'm also a massive fan of. And my MacBook is making an absolutely horrific noise at this moment. Well, that's good. That's not going to last long at all. That is like, that would be at home in some of the best brew houses in Germany. It really, really would. I think both brews have done a terrific job on this one. It's just the simplicity and the way it's executed is just fantastic. So yeah, off to a cracking start so far on this box. Check out both breweries, of course. Check out Beer 52 and Thirsty Cambridge. What would I give this beer? I would give that a very solid 8 out of 10. That's tasting really nice, and the fan in my MacBook is making a horrific sound, so I do apologise if that's all you can hear. Yeah, I think we're off to a great start with this box. Very much looking forward to some of the other beers, well, all of the other beers in this one. I think the next one I'm going to review doesn't necessarily mean it's the next one you're going to see, is sticking with the sort of lager edge. We're going to go for a Baltic Porter next. Another style that I think is horrifically underrated. Anyway, so if you've got this box and you've tried this one, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Are you a fan of both breweries? And if you want to get a bit political, feel free to do so, because I believe in freedom of speech. So you can, whether you violently disagree with me or stand behind every word I say, feel free to let loose in the comments. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Check out everyone involved. I think this is a really good project. Whether or not I really believe in the message too much or the slight propaganda is really, that's just my opinion. Whether you think less of me, that's fine. Unsubscribe, you know, harass me, dox me, whatever. But no, in all seriousness, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for bearing with me with my little soapbox moment. I won't be doing that for the rest of these reviews, don't you worry. Just wanted to get it out there straight away, just on my first review. And yeah, no matter what your political beliefs, as long as we can have a nice conversation, I'm always happy to share a beer with you guys. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully you'll join me next time for another beer review. See you guys later. Cheers.